Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. I'm so thrilled for this show today and what's going to come forth. And I have a wonderful guest, Kathleen Caputo. I call her Kathy, and I'll introduce her and share her with you as soon as we share this out. Let's get people in here to know about this wonderful lady and her beautiful message. So listen to the words of this song that's playing, because I think it'll touch your heart just like it touched mine.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. Say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. Say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
What a beautiful message. Even if the sky is falling down, even if everything looks so daunting and frightening around us, we can still search for that high vibration, keeping our heads above the water, right?
Absolutely.
We welcome everybody that's on Facebook. Thank you for joining with us. Julie, Jean, Charlie, Grace, Isis. Thank you all for being here. And I know more people are going to find it the more we share it out. Right now, I want to introduce Kathy Caputo. Kathleen Caputo is an ordained religious science and interfaith minister who focuses on providing positive and life-affirming resources to children and families of all cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Following a 30-year career as a business executive, Kathleen turned her attention to her true calling, teaching children and adults that they have the power to transform life's challenges into more positive experiences. She published her children's book, Huddle Bear's Secret, and founded Huddle Bear Incorporated, a nonprofit organization, Source of Guidance Incorporated, both dedicated to helping children and families to have happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives, and to better respond to life's challenges, including those facing crises and serious illness. Hado Bear is a child's guide to a positive life. Kathleen is the staff minister at the Center for Spiritual Living in Long Island. She has led more than 100 programs for children. She also taught workshops on creativity and guided imagery for the New York City school system, the Fashion Institute of Technology, and City University of New York. Kathleen studied with Dr. Masaru Emoto, New York Times bestselling author of The Hidden Messages in Water, and is one of his certified Hado instructors. Oh my goodness, I just got chills. I knew you had told me before that you had worked with Dr. Emoto, but just reading those words, I just knew that his energy was right here with us as we're doing this program. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be on your show. I am so honored that you have baby Hado Bear there with you. And it's wonderful to be able to speak about Hado Bear and Dr. Emoto, who loved children. He died, I guess he passed away about 4 or 5 years ago now. But he also wrote he wrote a New York Times bestseller, The Hidden Messages in Water, but he also wrote a book for children, a couple of books for children, and he spoke at the United Nations. And one of the little books he had is this little book, and he gave this away to thousands of children. And I believe it's now on the internet. And I will find the link and I'll send that to you, or I'll put that on your Facebook page.
Right. Oh my goodness, I am honored that you're here with us. I know we had spoken on the phone while I was still in New York. I had high hopes of meeting you, but I know I'm coming back through because we have a peace pole to place there in Long Island.
Yes.
So hopefully when I come to do that, we'll get to meet face to face. But thank you so much for blessing us. And please share with us the story of Hado Bear.
Sure,
and
sure.
Let us see your beautiful energy.
Thank you. Thank you. The story of Hado Bear is pretty amazing. And the beginning of the book, when you read it, is kind of a true story. And I basically wanted to be a nurse from the time I was a very, very little girl. And I actually started working as a nurse's aide in the hospital when I was a teenager. And I found I was too sensitive. I would go home at night and I would think about the patients and worry about them. And I finally realized this wasn't what I was meant to do. And I went into all different things. I was in the police department. I worked in commercial real estate. I did everything. But I always loved something about healing, and I learned therapeutic touch, which was used in hospitals, became a certified clinical therapist for hypnosis, and also started doing CDs for cancer patients. And I finally came across a book by the name of You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And I started reading about consciousness and how important our thoughts and our words and our beliefs are. And in the back of the book, I realized that Louise was a religious science minister. Now, I never in a million years thought that I was going to be a minister, and it came full circle. And that's pretty much how I do my healing work now, is through my ministry. One of my first teachers actually told me about Dr. Emoto. And I read his book and I looked at the water crystals, and I'll show some of them to you. And I love jewelry. And I looked at one water crystal that said love and gratitude. And I said, wow, I would love to have a ring that looked like that. And then I remembered that one of my best friends is a jewelry designer and was a professor at FIT. So I called her up. I told her about what I wanted to do. She said, great idea. I love Dr. Emoto. Within 2 weeks, we had a whole line of jewelry designed. And we wanted to see him, and we found out he was going to be in California. Now, not knowing that we could ever meet him, we still made reservations to go there. And I called an office in California. He was based in Japan. And his son answered the phone. And I told him what we wanted to do. and he said, I'm going to set up a whole meeting for you with the president of the company, with my father. And that's what we did. We went to California, met with them. They loved the jewelry. And to make a very long story short, we were entering into a contract with them to be able to use the water crystal pictures to put on the outside of the box for the jewelry. But we couldn't come to terms on the business. But while we were there, we were there for a reason. We walked by the gift shop, and my friend who was with me, the jewelry designer, her name is Kathy also, she sees that there's a big stuffed polar bear sitting in the doorway on this big table. And for no reason at all, she said, Kathy, that has to be your bear. So the child that I still am went in, bought the polar bear for $125, and a big box on the plane going back was this big bear. Now, Dr. Emoto mentions in his books the Japanese word for the vibrational pattern of energy that we're all made out of. The word is hado. So I named the big bear Hado Bear because we met with Dr. Emoto that day. So I will introduce you to him. He got dressed up today in his red bow tie, all for you guys. He's a big, big guy. He's 3.5 feet tall, almost as big as me.
Wow.
And he sits in a big white chair in my living room. And during COVID, I wasn't able to go to schools and everything like I would normally do. And I would sit on my couch and I would almost hear him saying, but Mom, you're supposed to be working for me. Get off that couch and do something for me. So I'm going to put him back down again. So I started to become a minister in that I was sitting at home one day working and I heard something say, it's time you become a minister now. And I had already been learning about what they call science of mind, which is religious science. Really a teaching about consciousness written by Ernest Holmes. And I had to go to a church to be able to take these courses. And when I got there, I realized they had nothing for children. And I was brought up Catholic, and I realized that had I known about consciousness, I wouldn't have grown up with fear. I wouldn't have thought that there was a God out there, looking at me and judging. And so I asked if I could start a junior church for the children between 7 and 12 years of age. And I did. We did this for about, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we did this for about 5 years, and the kids are all grown now, and they have such different lives. They grew up without being afraid. They knew that they had everything inside of them to do whatever they needed to do. They knew that they were perfect just the way they are. So I wanted to write a book about this. And I decided that Hado Bear would be the character. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine came over one day and I was going to use a little dog. And he said, nah, kids love bears. I said, oh, I've got a bear for you. And so I showed him Hado Bear. And so I wrote Hado Bear Secret. And the book basically shows children that we're all made to be different, but we're all perfect just the way we are. It talks about kindness. It talks about loving yourself. And it talks about how important our thoughts and our words are. And I actually describe that as in a way of energy. So even little children can understand. And in the back of the book, there are questions where a parent or an adult can go over the book with them. And we also have an exercise called Turn It Around. And Turn It Around shows 10 negative statements. Then there's 10 positive statements that the child can pick which one turns that negative statement around. And that's basically what is in Louise Hay's book. She said, take whatever you're thinking about, write it down, write the negative down, and then find how you can turn that sentence around to something positive and plant something different in your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind only hears whatever you're saying, and it doesn't have the ability to discern whether it's really something you want or you don't want, or it's good or bad, or big or small. Similar to somebody coming along and wanting to plant an apple tree, but they mistakenly plant a lemon seed. The soil doesn't say, hey, Mr. Farmer, you planted the wrong thing. All it does, it knows to grow it.
Yeah,
So this is what we're teaching children right now.
Yeah.
I read the book to 800 children at my former grammar school, and it was the most amazing experience. So I can't wait to be able to get back to schools again.
Yes, it's so needed. And, I read the book. I think every adult should read this book because it really brings in that message that you're perfect just the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about, the subconscious mind. And a friend of mine says, a belief is just a thought you keep on thinking.
Yeah.
So we can change those beliefs just with the way we program our thoughts. We can start that positive energy flowing in and let that be what our focus is, so that we're hearing the positive and we're not believing in the limitations.
Exactly.
And children are so creative anyway. When we give them that open road and like no roofs, no limits, then they can do and be whatever they want. It's so empowering to them. And that's what this is. That's what your message is. It's empowering these children, and the children are our future. That's what's going to be making the decisions in our future.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So one of the other things that we did, we started a nonprofit called Source of Guidance, and to help children that are seriously ill. So we put together a program for them where we give away the book. We have baby Hado Bear that you have there, and we give them a comfort animal. And we also give them a membership to the Hado Bear Superhero Club, because I think all of these children that have so many challenges are superheroes. They get past some of the things that we say, oh, I got this pain here, I got this pain there. And you look at what these children go through. So we do that. And then Hado Bear's secret, and don't tell any of the kids, is that he can talk. And I have an app that actually makes him talk. And we do healing videos specifically for what each of the children are going through. And we send that to the parent to show the child also. We've given hundreds of books and bears away to Cohen Children's Hospital and Ronald McDonald House. So it's so wonderful to be able to do that.
Yeah, I shared one of the videos out last night because I wanted people to get a taste of Hado Bear. And thank you for having those up on Facebook so that we can see those and see Hado Bear talking. So awesome. And I want to thank you also, Kathleen, because we did a fundraiser just recently for the Peace on Earth tour, which is what's going on with me throughout the country and with all of the P's for peace. And one of the things in that fundraiser was a little Hado Bear and the book. So happy that went along to someone to enjoy that with their grandkids, I believe, is who's going to be the recipient of it.
That's great. We can thank Grace for that. My good friend Grace.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so thrilled that Grace introduced us. What a blessing to be able to communicate with somebody who brings in this kind of energy to our children and to the world. We're all kids. We all have that inner child inside of us, and we need that little boost of remembering that we can talk, that we can use our voice, we can use it for good and lift each other up. So thank you for all that you do in the world.
Oh, you're welcome. This is my, I could do this all day long. I have so much energy to do something like this because I feel like I'm still a kid. And when I do this with the children, I feel, wow, it's great to be able to be with kids. One of the things about the book is in the beginning, Hado Bear is in a gift shop, As I said, it's kind of like a true story in the beginning, and nobody's buying him. And he starts to wonder what's wrong with him. You know, should I have been a dog or a cat? Am I the wrong color? And it's what so many of us go through as adults too, right? Exactly. Right.
Yeah, they just
And
kind of pass him by, don't they?
pardon me?
They just kind of pass him by.
Yes, that's right. They just kids come in, they look at him, and they might buy something else, or the mother will take them away. And so he's sitting there wondering, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? How many of us say that? And
Oh,
I changed the name to protect the innocent, but in the book, then my friend Kathy and I go by, and she says, you know, that needs to be your bear. And I bring him home for my goddaughter, whose name really is Janine, and she loves Hato Bear, but she's going through the same thing. She doesn't think that people in her new school like her, and so he helps her to get over that. And they talk to Aunt Donna, which was me, and they learn that we're all meant to be different. We're all perfect just the way we are, and that you need to be kind. And the little girl didn't want to go to school. And then after hearing that, she finally went to school. And there was a little boy there named Joey, and he didn't think anybody liked him either. And Hato Bear told him what he learned. And they ended up making a lot of different friends at the school. So Aunt Donna showed them that their thoughts and words are very, very important, and that you can turn something around. And all the kids had a great day that day. And so every child can do that, and so can adults.
yes. Yes, because there's many, many times that we don't think we're being seen or
Mhm.
heard or
Yeah.
acknowledged. And that's really what we want. We want to know that other people see us, and
Mhm.
and when we speak, that we're being heard, we're being acknowledged. So yeah, I think this is such a beautiful story for all of us, not just for the children. Jean Lorio is with us, and she says that you need to connect with Karen Palmer. Karen Palmer has Hato Bear, thanks to Grace Isis. Grace Isis is such a big fan of yours and of Hato Bear,
Thank
and she has shared Hato Bear with many of us and the story. And thank you, Grace, for that. Karen is another beautiful soul. We do a show together at night,
you. Mhm.
and yeah, she's such a champion for children because she goes into the schools and she teaches them meditation and yoga and helps them to know their magnificence.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. That's what we need to do. When I first started to teach meditation to teachers in the school system, this is back in the 90s, and I couldn't even call it meditation. I had to find another word for it. So I called it focused relaxation, which is really what meditation is. And they loved it. But at that point, their principal wouldn't allow them to do it. Thank goodness it's become mainstream, and people realize how important it is to go within and find those answers that are always there for us.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate that we can't use a word like meditate, because then as they grow, they'll understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so thrilled that you're able to help in that way. I just recently connected with Kakori app, which takes programs and projects into the schools,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be doing land blessings. But I had to change it to be politically correct so that nobody would get upset with using the word meditation or blessings.
Yes.
You know, it was energy, and we can't even use energy. So it was really difficult to speak on that level. But the angels helped me to put it in the words that would allow it then to go into the school, because those kids need to know that this is a way that they can connect inside. They can connect to their inner voice and their inner selves.
Absolutely.
And Julie Kiss, who's also in New York, Julie's in upstate New York. She says, God bless you for doing this. This will help so many children.
That's really wonderful. It's funny when I retired from a 30+ year career in commercial real estate, and the following year I went to my grammar school, and I had 400 kids in the auditorium, and I read the book. I had it up on a big screen, and afterwards I asked the children, would anybody like to come up and say what they learned? And this little girl, she must have been about 8 or 9, she raised her hand. She came up and she told me what she learned. And she looked at me, she said, "You're wonderful." And she put her arms around me and she said, "Thank you." And it just told me I'm doing the right thing here, that this
Mhm.
child really understood what Hato Bear was trying to teach her. And to be able to do that uh, is wonderful. And if you're a parent, you can do that every single day. I'm very careful not to put religion into Hato Bear,
Right.
just so it does reach as many different cultures and backgrounds. I have lately on my on my Facebook page, I have used the word divine, and that seems to be okay with everybody. But Hato Bear is for everybody, just like you said, and including adults. Yeah. I have a
Yes.
cousin. I have a cousin who is very negative, and she read the book, and she bought it for 6 of her grandnephews and nieces, and she called me. I learned a lot from that book. I said, "Good for you. That's good."
Yeah, and that's Grace Isis is asking if we can discuss how the story of Hato helps the inner child who is now an adult.
Well, that's what I found for myself when I started in the teaching of consciousness, is that there's still a lot there from when I was a child, and I had a wonderful childhood. I had very loving parents. I was an only child. I was kind of spoiled, not money wise, but in every other way. And but I find that there's still some things that I look and I say, certain things keep popping up in my life, repeating themselves, and it's that inner child that hasn't been healed yet. And I believe that Hato Bear can teach that inner child that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you did go through, there's still a way of turning that around in your life now, because now is really the only time you have. One of the exercises I did with children in my classes is that I had them do a clock, but instead of putting numbers around the clock, they put the word now around the whole thing. So
Oh,
that
I love
whenever they looked at the clock, it reminds me, you know what? This is the only time I have now. If you're trying to drive a car and you're looking backwards, you can't drive the car. You can't drive it forward, that's for sure. So it's something that I think knowing about how important our thoughts and our words are. And when you look at Dr. Emoto's experiments, and if you have some time, I can even show you 1 or 2 of them.
Yes, yes, please do.
He showed how our thoughts and our feelings and our words and our beliefs affect water, because water is vibration. Sound is vibration, and it affects water. We're all made of water. So can you imagine what our words and our thoughts and our beliefs are doing to our own physical being and our emotions? So what happened is he was trying to show other scientists about this, and they didn't believe him. So he set out to show them how water does change through their thoughts and their words. And he did this with words, he did it with prayer, he did it with music, he did it with pictures, where he put a picture of an elephant and put a vial of water on top of it, took a drop of it later on, and he froze that droplet. And when you see the crystal, it looks like it's got a trunk. It's just amazing what he did. And he put a lot of those in this little book too, if you don't want to buy the big book. So if you would like to see something, I can show you actually a 5-minute video of an experiment that they did with families, with children and the parents.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. If for any reason I get out of here, I'll sign right back in again. Okay.
Okay, and I want to say hello to Mary Lou and Erica who are here with us. Mary Lou has your book and she's thanking you for all that you do. And she says, I love that you added the questions after the story.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? I'm going to show you something first. I have all of Dr. Emoto's presentation materials. So he said that energy is vibration, and where there's vibration, there's sound. And as sound is created, there's a master listener, which is water. And since we're all made of water, the water crystal is a vibration. I don't know why this isn't moving. Sorry about that. Stop share. I'm going to try this once more. Okay. There we go. I don't know why this is moving. I used it earlier to make sure it worked. There we go. So this is his first experiment where he took 2 vials of water. I translated it for you, not that I know Japanese, but one of them said "you fool" and the other one said "thank you." And he left it there overnight, and then he took a droplet of water out of each vial and he froze it. And then under a special high-powered microscope, he looked at it, and this is what it turned into. The "you fool" turned into something really ugly looking, and the "thank you" turned into a beautiful water crystal.
Mhm.
And this is the water crystal for love and gratitude. This is the one that I wanted to make a ring out of. And actually, Dr. Emoto said that was his favorite water crystal also.
Oh, and that's love and gratitude?
That's love and gratitude, yeah. Mm-hmm. So those 2 words, isn't it true though that love is the healer? And when we're grateful, even for something that we don't have yet, that's what attracts it to us. And if you already have it, it attracts more. So love and gratitude is extremely powerful. So I'm just going to see if I can get this video up for you. I'll be right there. Takes a minute to start.
Next, we conducted another
Not
experiment,
sharing.
one that involved projecting
Okay.
our thoughts.
You don't see it yet, right?
No, it's not screen sharing.
Okay. Now we got it. Okay.
We conducted another experiment, one that involved projecting our thoughts onto water and testing the effects of human thought forms and words. Through our website, we rounded up a group of volunteers to help us with this experiment. 4 groups of parents and their children participated. In this experiment, we used 2 glasses of tap water taken from Tokyo. We should note here that crystal formation has always eluded the waters of Tokyo. To one glass, all of the participants expressed gratitude, first out loud, then with their eyes closed. Next, they observed the water for any changes.
お水さんを大切にします。お水さんを大切にします。はい。それじゃあ今言った 言葉、お水に対する思い、これをみんなで目をつぶって祈ってください。はい、じゃあ目をつぶってください。1分間です。
The researcher is now transferring this water onto petri dishes. The children look on curiously. Three hours later, the frozen water is ready for observation.
みんなで祈りを込めて、言葉をかけた結晶を見ていきます。
We will start with the water that was left alone. Like so many times before, once again, we observed a total lack of beautiful crystal formation in the tap water from Tokyo. Next, we will observe the water that was exposed to good thoughts. The children gaze into the monitor. What will happen to the tap water when their thoughts become one? Then, from within the darkness of the microscope, a small crystal appeared and slowly started to grow. Magnification increase revealed the sudden emergence of a single crystal, clear and simple, as if to epitomize the thoughts of the people who had gathered. In response to the words and thoughts of the participants, the tap water from Tokyo produced a beautifully balanced crystal. Through crystallization, water is telling us that it can act as our mirror, that it can reflect human thought. Water has the ability to show us what we cannot see. The same water also flows through our bodies and nurtures all life on Earth.
So I use this to show children, because telling a child that your thoughts and your words become your experiences, it's kind of hard for a child to understand. But when they see these pictures, it gives them an idea of, wow, it really works.
Yeah. I have two of the crystals myself. This one is the words love for humanity was spoken to the water. And it's just a beautiful crystal. This is what it looks like. Isn't that gorgeous?
Beautiful.
And then the other one, this one I dearly love. This is soul. And I'm going to turn it this way because you can see the heart right in the middle of that beautiful crystal.
Right.
Yeah, I carry these with me all the time. And especially if I'm doing water blessings, I like to have them there so that I can talk about how important it is to speak into water. Whatever you want to pour into it, and especially anything positive that's going to connect the waters to each other and flow more fluidly and powerfully in our lives. We're getting a great response to the video, and Julie says, way, way cool, love it. And Mary Lou says, water is life.
Yeah.
Jean L'Oreal, Jean used to be a teacher. She's a retired teacher. And she said, when I was a teacher, I used to tell my students, when you say a hurtful thing to another person, you are in essence killing or wounding that person for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Is that really what you want to do? This makes perfect sense when you consider how much we are made of water.
That's true. And it's hurting yourself too. When you're doing that, whatever you give out, you're getting back. It's when you told me that you already knew Dr. Emoto, I thought that was great. Some people are not that familiar with him, but it's such a wonderful tool for a teacher. Absolutely.
I know before we showed the films, Mary Lou had a question about the birthday wishes.
Oh, yes. I'll tell you about two things. What I'm doing now is I put a combo together, what I call a combo, which is an autographed copy of the book. Hato Bear and I autograph it. And that if you have someone that you want to give it to, you just tell me the child's name. I'll autograph it to that child. Send it to whoever you want to send it to. And then the package will include a baby Hato Bear.
And the address?
Yes, he's got his stamp there.
Right. Love it.
So we're charging it's about $35, including shipping and taxes. And what we also do is we take 5% of the proceeds and we donate it to Source of Guidance. So that goes towards another book and bear for a child in the hospital. And then the birthday videos, if someone sends me the name of a child, how old they are, kind of what they like, we'll do a video for that child and email it to you that you can show it to them on their birthday. And that we charge $15 for. It's not expensive. So what I would do is send you a link to PayPal. And if you don't use PayPal, we can work something else out.
Awesome. So, Kathy, this has been beautiful. I would love for more people to get in touch with you. So if you would just give the info of how they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. So you can reach to me at Kathy, Kathy, at hadobear.com, HADOBEAR.com. If you want to send me a link or send me an email, if you want the book and the bear, I'll send something back to you on what I need from you for that. Same thing with the birthday video. Be happy to send that out to you.
And Hato Bear has a Facebook page, doesn't he?
He has two Facebook pages. He has a business page called Hato Bear, and then he also has a Facebook private group, which is Hato Bear Kid. What is it? I always forget it, unfortunately. Hato Bear Kids Club. And that, if you go on it and just say that you want to join, I'll approve it right away. Right now, we have a little over 100 people on it. And so what we also do every Wednesday, Hato Bear sends out Hato Bear's Wise Words. And they're basically an affirmation for the week for children and adults.
Beautiful. Well, Jean Loria, we call her our Auntie Jean. She is our wise woman of the Peace for Peace. And Jean asks, can I send one to myself? My birthday is coming up soon.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think that's the best thing to do.
I think so too.
I think we have, one of the things that I said in one of the affirmations is we have to love ourselves first before we can love somebody else. And so I think that's a perfect way of loving yourself. And Hado Bear would love to be able to do that for you.
Absolutely. And Mary Lou says, my grandson is turning 7 this month and he will meet Hado Bear then. So
that's really great. The other thing that we started doing in the schools, and then we weren't able to go on with that, but I'm putting something together for Zoom. I figured kids were pretty much zoomed out for a while, but now that they're going back, and we have a program called the Superpower of Your Thoughts Workshop. And it includes reading the book, going over the questions, answering questions for the kids, and then talking about bullying and how important our thoughts and our words are, and how we can take a challenge and turn it around. And then if there's a school that wants to purchase the book, we make arrangements for that too.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy, for all the beautiful work you're doing in the world, especially for our young ones. Like I said, that's our future right there. And how we're training them, how we're teaching them is how they're going to be as they're growing into adults. So it's such an important work and an important mission that you have. And I'm just loving everything that I'm hearing about your work and just admire you. I really can't wait to meet you in person.
I can't wait to meet you either, and we definitely will soon, that's for sure. But thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you, Teri. Thank you, Gracie, my Grace. It was such a pleasure, and believe me, it's my greatest wish to help these kids. And I know that I could never leave this earth without doing this. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you've got everybody wanting one. Charlie is turning 67 on the 19th, in just a few more days. And he says, I need a Hado Bear. And he is right there in Long Island where you are.
Oh, that's really great. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes from the time I was very young, I had anxiety attacks. And I still do every once in a while. And sometimes I think about it, if anything ever happened to me and they saw me at night, I take one of these and I just hold on to it and it goes away.
Oh, they're so soft. They are so soft and cuddly. And I have to protect this one because one of the doggies that's here in the home that I'm in right now has a teddy bear. I'm like, bear.
That's true.
Yes, everybody needs a Hado Bear. Very cuddly, very loving, and just reminds us that we have a voice and we are seen and heard and loved every moment of every day.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Kathy, for the wonderful message you have brought forth to the world. I appreciate you so much. And I really hope that those of you that are watching this and those who will watch on the replay, that you'll get in touch with Kathy and let's help further this mission out into the world. Thank you for all you're doing. And blessings to everyone that's here. Kathy, any parting words that you would like to share with us before we get off the air?
Just remember that no matter who you are, what's going on in your life, what's happened in your life, that you're perfect, whole, and complete in every way, and that you have everything inside of you to get past anything. That's my biggest advice.
It's beautiful. Thank you, my friend. And thank you to all who watch. And every show I end with namaste, y'all. Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Bye,
Kathy, thank
everyone.
you again for being here with us.